So let's face it, if you're like me and most people, at least at some point in your life, you thought that if you ever had $100 million, that all of your problems would be over. And yet, 95% of people who win the lottery or inherit a large sum of money are broke within 5 years. So then you say, well, how could that be? And possibly you're even wondering how any advice given to a centimillionaire could help you, right? I mean, how could it impact your life? The answer is a lot more than you probably could imagine. And most importantly, you want to make sure that the mistakes I'm going to share with you today don't happen to you. So if you want to learn more about really how to get in the driver's seat of your money and avoid devastating mistakes, you're going to love today's episode. So please stay tuned. Hi, I'm Annette Ba'u, host of the Wealth Inside and Out podcast and founder of the Millionaire Insider. My mission is to help you simplify the money game so you can create a financially secure and fulfilled life without having to have a PhD or spend countless hours on your finances. You're going to learn how to think like a millionaire, stop worrying about money and wondering if your financial house is truly in order, and instead spend your time doing what you love. With over 3 decades advising 7, 8, and even 9-figure millionaires, and now joining that elite group, I'm in a unique position to help you make the best financial choices so you can create a secure financial future and retirement you love. This is the Wealth Inside and Out podcast. To know your next best financial step, you can go and take our assessment at themillionaireinsider.com/NSF. Our free guide today is our Millionaire Mindset Guide. You can go to themillionaireinsider.com/SMMG. This resource contains some of the most valuable insight that I have gained over my 35 plus years advising millionaires. It really gives you insight that is really not available anywhere in the world. It's going to show you how to think and really how to set yourself up so that you can create the right mindset, because mindset is so critical when it comes to achieving your results. So again, themillionaireinsider.com/SMMG. For today's show notes, you can go to themillionaireinsider.com/56. All materials and intellectual property are copywritten by themillionaireseries.com. This information is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to replace any advisor or to provide any investment, financial, tax, retirement, or planning advice. So let's dive in. The first thing that is so critical when it comes to mistakes of centimillionaires who have a net worth of over 100 million, or you, is an impulse or an impatience condition. The saying goes that if you can't manage $1, you can't manage 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 100 million. And if you really think about it, there is some truth to that. Now, obviously, if you're destitute, that's a whole different issue. But what we have found in our research is that you've got to get in the mindset of managing money regardless of how much you have. To retain money, the first step is you've got to manage your mind. An out of control primal brain or an underdeveloped prefrontal cortex is impulse driven. It does what it feels like doing, and it doesn't have the maturity or patience to ignore those impulse decisions, such as overspending or even underplanning. It's like you do what you want to do. You got to learn how to manage your money now, regardless of how much money you have. The sooner you can wrap your head around that, the sooner you're going to be in a much better position when you retire, or if you are one of the lucky ones that inherits money. And not only the lucky one that inherits money, but the lucky one that keeps it, right? Because there are so many people, like 95% of people that win the lottery are broke in 5 years. And I have met at least a dozen of them. One of my clients, who was an advisor, one of his clients had won the lottery twice. A friend of mine knows a woman who won the lottery twice, and now she's living with her mother. It is amazing how many people win the lottery and are broke. So don't let that be you. But the first thing you got to do to manage impulses and even being impatient is to calm down your mind. Let's focus on that for a minute, because these are some really helpful strategies that can help you regardless of where you are financially. One of the first tips is to start focus breathing. And I'll link to this in the show notes, but focus breathing is such a powerful tool because it allows you to get in the driver's seat of your life. And we're going to do a little exercise here just so you can experience it. I encourage you to put your feet flat on the ground. You can either put your palms facing down on your knees or facing up. So if you need more grounding, if you feel fearful or anxious, face your palms down. If you feel more open, have less fear, less anxiety, then face your palms up to the heavens. So you want to breathe into the count of 8, hold it for 8, and then release for 16. I encourage you to practice this exercise first thing in the morning and then last thing in the evening, and then at the end of each power hour that you do each day. A power hour is 50 to 70 minutes of laser focus, and it's followed by a power break, and then you set your intention. I'll link to power hours in the show notes, so you can go over to themillionaireinsider.com/56 to access the show notes. But a power hour is 50 to 70 minutes of laser focus, and it's followed by a power break, which is 5 to 7 minutes of moving your arms and moving your legs, and then a 3-minute time where you just focus, breathe, and you set your intention. And it's really powerful to really use that time to focus, breathe. And I encourage you to do these exercises throughout the day because it's going to really help to calm down your primal brain. An overactive primal brain is just not optimal. Another strategy is to just spend time in silence, 30 to 90 minutes each day. Now, for some of us, that's hard, right? But this can include meditation or the focused breathing we talked about above. Silent walks or hikes are also a great option. A lot of people really feel calm when they're in nature. So you got to figure out what works for you. Yoga is also a great strategy, especially like a slow flow or a restorative yin. The key is to just let your mind relax. You want to quiet it down. And what you'll find is that the more you can quiet it down when you're in your practice of yoga, the more quiet it becomes when you're out in the world dealing with people and situations. The next is chants. These have been around for centuries. They're used for shifting energy, improving your mood, creating a sense of calmness, better focus, as well as to gain a spiritual connection. And they are so powerful in allowing us to shift our energy. How it works is a couple of ways. There's a rhythmic repetition that goes along with chanting. It can get you actually into like a meditative state, but it helps to calm down your mind. It releases positive endorphins, reduces stress, and helps to promote relaxation. I really encourage you to consider chants. There's a vibration that occurs when you're doing a chant that certain people believe impacts energy centers, which are known as chakras in your body. And it can help to promote balance and harmony. Depending on which chakra you're working on, it's amazing. Now, this is the thing I encourage you to do. If you're like, you've never heard of this, or you're like, this sounds so woo-woo, I just encourage you to go try it. I can remember years ago working on my root chakra because I was just having a lot of fear, and it was unbelievable, the impact. So before you discount something, just go try it. It was funny because I remember this gentleman was not a centimillionaire, but he's worth about 40 million. And I remember saying to him, there was some strategy that was brought up, and I was like, oh, I don't know. And he goes, before you discount something, you need to go and try it. He said, there are so many people out there that'll tell you, oh, don't go do this or that. They never have, and they're not even close to where you want to be. So what I have found is before I discount, I try it out and I see, does this work for me? And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. And I thought that was such great advice. The other thing chanting can do is help to release tension, stagnant energy, and it can promote an overall sense of well-being, which is why so many people love chants. Now, there are a lot of practices you can use to get your impulses under control, but these ones I just shared with you are a great start. Just start and just see how you feel and the impact it makes. All right, the second one is overspending or overindulgence. People who blow through millions or really any amount have a spending problem, right? They also have an indulgence problem. Research shows that if you have an issue of overeating and then you say, oh, I've got to get over this, you heal it, you now lose weight, you're feeling great. If you don't rewire the neural pathways in your brain, that overeating addiction is oftentimes going to become an overdrinking addiction or too much sex or too much money. Like you just keep needing to have more money. Make it, spend it. And I was recently talking to an expert on the topic. What she has seen amongst very wealthy people is that oftentimes the overindulgent ends in money. So they had a drinking problem, then they had a food problem, now they've got a money problem. But see, this is the problem. The reason that money is such a dangerous overindulgence is because it's accepted by society, by our tribe. If you spend money, say on a nice house or car or dinner or jewelry, you get attention, you're noticed, people notice you. As compared to when you're saving or investing, the only real reward you get is that internal, intrinsic feeling, maybe with your family or who else knows your goal, but you don't get it from society. Just think about somebody that's drunk, like, they're obnoxious drunk or they're overeating and then they become obese. Our society, our tribe looks down upon them. But if we're rich, we earn and we spend, we are rewarded. And that is why it's so dangerous. If you want a secure financial future, you've got to make this a priority. Now, I also want you to consider that regardless of the amount of money you have, it's finite, it's limited. Even Oprah or Bill Gates have a finite amount of money. Now, when you hear billions, you automatically think the person's really wealthy or even 100 million, but it still is limited. So is the winnings of a lottery winner. So then why is it that so many of them go broke? It's because they think it's infinite. They think it's never going to run out. But it does. When you overspend, regardless of how much money you have, if you overspend, you've got a problem. The result is absolutely disastrous. So what can you do? Well, some practical steps are creating a spending plan. You want to determine how much money you earn from all sources and how much you spend. Separate out those want versus need expenses. The affluent budget will help. You can go to themillionaireinsider.com/MBT. That's our magical budget template. And it's one I've used extensively with affluent clients, as well as with people who aren't affluent. It works wonders. Again, it's themillionaireinsider.com/MBT. I'll link to it in the show notes. But you need to do this. Before you have money, you've got to manage your money. Because then once you have it, you'll know how. And this is true regardless of how much money you have. Now, equally important is creating a comprehensive financial plan to make sure all of your affairs are in order, such as your taxes, your insurance, your retirement, your estate plan, all of those critical items that oftentimes go unnoticed or are ignored. All right, number 3, there's no guaranteed consistent income. The beauty of having a lump sum amount of money from either a lottery, an inheritance, a divorce, whatever it may be, is that it allows you to receive a guaranteed income stream for life. How it works is you give money to an insurance company and they guarantee an income for the rest of your life. It's called an annuity. Typically, what you want to do is you want to have a guaranteed period of payment. So 20 years, they're going to pay you out a minimum of 20 years or a maximum of your lifetime, whichever is longer. What I find when it comes to annuities is that a lot of women love them because it gives them certainty and they don't have to worry about having money.